Alright, ladies and gentlemen, happy Halloween to everyone. As you guys know, I tend to do Halloween specials and Christmas specials and everything, and this time I decided that I wouldn't get together a bunch of friends and just play Clash. That's not exactly relevant. What if I could come up with a story that is Clash of Clans related, has a point, and will give you a little tiny scare. So viewer discretion advised. The story is kind of gruesome, and yet at the same time, it's very fascinating and has a plot twist that you guys will probably know by the middle of the story, but you guys will also sort of wait and be like, is it really the plot twist? So, it's a really cool story, and if you guys don't like scary stories, then obviously close the blinds, turn off the lights, get under your covers, and start listening. Let's do this. In the story, I'm about 34 years old, and my son just turned 10. It was his birthday about a week ago, and so I enter his room and I go, "Son, we need to have a chat about internet safety." And I slowly sit down on the floor next to him. His iPad's open and he's playing this game called Clash of Clans. Apparently it's the new hype and a lot of people are playing this game. I have absolutely no clue what the game is about, but as far as I can see, he's in this thing called Global, and he is typing away to people with really unusual names. And so I sit down and go, "Son, can you close that for a moment? We have to have a chat about internet safety." And so he closes his game and he whines for a second. Then he puts down his iPad, and he looks at me. And so I go, "Alright, you ready for a story?" And he goes, "Aw, is this going to be one of those cheesy, scary stories? Your stories suck." And I fake my hurt feelings, and I grin at him. "I thought you like just scary stories, because last time I told you a real scary story, you had nightmares for 3 days straight." And he goes, "But I'm 10 now. I can handle really scary stories." And so I look at him for a moment, and he smiles, and I'm like, okay, then let's tell a real scary story. And so I began my story. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Coulson. My son gives me that look. Here we go again. But I continued anyway. Coulson went online, and he started playing this game called Clash of Clans on his iPad. After a while, he decided to change his name to Drago, and he decided to join a clan named I.O.N.X. There he met another kid, known as Helper23. They liked video games, shows, the same movies, they laughed at each other's jokes, and they just loved the game Clash of Clans. They'd always talk about the wars, they'd always talk about things in Global and funny things that happened to them, and it kept at it. Several months went by, and eventually, Coulson became such a good friend to Helper23 that Coulson actually gave his gift card code that he got for his birthday to Helper23. It was a $20 gift card, and Helper23 was so excited because he could finally upgrade his Town Hall to Town Hall 11. Now, something funny is that Coulson and Helper23's birthdays were about 2 weeks apart, and Coulson's birthday was coming up very shortly, and Helper23 wanted to send him a really cool present in real life. Coulson figured it wouldn't hurt to give Helper23 his home address, as long as he promised not to tell it to strangers or grown-ups. Helper23 swore that he wouldn't tell anyone else, not even his own parents, and he would set about mailing the package as soon as possible. When Coulson asked what could possibly be the present and why he didn't just give him a gift card, Helper said, "Don't worry, it's a secret, and it'll be really cool." At this point in the story, I look at my son and I go, "Was giving out his address a good idea?" He shakes his head no, and the smile is finally off his face. That night, Coulson wasn't too happy about giving away his home address either. His guilt began to grow, and it kept on growing. By the time he put on his pajamas that night, his guilt and fear were larger than anything else in his life. He couldn't admit the truth to his parents because they would punish him a lot. All they ever told him, they didn't ask much from him, but they always told him he could play any game, but never ever give out his address or his personal information. So, he squirmed in his bed and waited for his parents to tuck him in. At this point in the story, I look up at my son and his eyes are wide. he has the slightest impression of what's coming. That night, Coulson went to bed, and he kept on squirming, and as he did, he heard a lot of clanging and banging, but he must have imagined it. It must have been in his dreams, or it must have been his mother at the washing machine, or maybe branches that were scraping against the brick in his room. His baby brother was slightly crying inside of the nursery, but he did that often, so he didn't think much of it. He went back to sleep, closed his eyes, and kept on trying to sleep. Then he heard his dad's footsteps in the hall. "Hey, Dad," he called out nervously. "I have something to tell you." His dad sticks his head in the doorway in a really weird angle, and in the darkness, his mouth doesn't seem to move, and his eyes are all wrong. "Yes, son?" His voice was off, too. Are you okay, Dad?" the boy asks. "Uh-huh," sings the father in a very affectionate voice. Coulson pulls up his covers in defense. Is Mom around?" "Here I am." His mom's head pops through the doorway below Dad's. Her voice has a very weird sound, even weirder than his father's. "When were you going to tell us about giving our home address away to Helper 23? You shouldn't have done that. We told you could never give out your personal information on Clash of Clans or any other game. Why'd you do it?" And then she took a pause and kept on going. "He wasn't really a kid. He just pretended to be one. Do you know what he did? He came to our house, broke in, and murdered both of us, just so he could spend some time with you." Coulson blinks, and his mother and father are gone. In their place stands a fat man in a jacket, soaked in something. The next time that Coulson blinks, he realizes that the man is closing in on him, and the man unsheaths his knife. That's when Coulson realizes that this man's jacket isn't covered in water, but blood. Coulson screams, and that's when Coulson's head drops to the ground, and the man laughs. At this point in the story, my son comes and snuggles up next to me, and he's pretty much shaking. But I'm not done yet. Helper 23 has had the time of his life. He chopped the boy into so many different pieces, and he smiles as he takes the knife out of the boy, and he hears crying. Upstairs. Must be a baby. What a special treat. He's never killed a baby before. Helper 23 leaves Kobe and goes up the stairs, walking slowly. He goes into the nursery, and he walks right up to the crib, picks up the baby, and the baby stops crying. He's about to do something, but then he thinks he's never had a baby before. He's never actually even held a baby before. And so he wipes his bloody hands on the blanket and strokes the baby's cheek. "Hey there, sweet little guy." He puts the baby over his shoulder, drops the knife, walks past the father, walks past the mother, walks past what's left of Coulson, and walks out and raises the baby as his own. He decides he's going to name the baby William. All of a sudden, my son interrupts me and goes, "But Dad, my name's William." And I give him a wink and tousle his hair. "Of course it is, son." William looks at me in horror and slowly backs out of the room, runs to his own room, and cries for the next 2 hours. You know, maybe I shouldn't have told him that story, but I think it got the point across. Alright, ladies and gents, as I said, happy Halloween. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my story. Hopefully you guys got the point that was implied. And if you guys did not, the comments are your best friend. Thank you guys for watching. Get some candy for me. This is going to be me logging off.
What does he want from us? Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet.